What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the NFL Mock Draft 2.0, my last mock draft before the real draft tomorrow night. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to be entered into our giveaway at 500 subscribers. And without further ado, I give you the first 8 picks in the NFL draft. And no surprise at number 1 with Bryce Young going off the board. And then this is where I changed it up a little bit. I have Will Anderson going number 2 to the Texans. They pass on a QB, possibly in a later pick. And then we got the Tennessee Titans trading up with the Cardinals to get C.J. Stroud in one of the most, I think, unexpected things to happen in this year's NFL draft. No one really sees that coming. The Titans have reportedly lost faith in Malik Willis, and they don't know what to do with Tannehill still on the roster. So maybe Tannehill could get dealt somewhere for some picks in the second round. And then we got Will Levis still going to the Colts. I just don't see how that doesn't happen for me. I think the people are leaning towards, he could go number 2, or he could go 12, or he could go, anywhere in between. But I still see that happening along with Anthony Richardson. I feel like he's a for sure lock with Seattle. I don't know why they wouldn't take that chance on him. They still have Geno Smith. Could you develop him for a year and then see what he's got? Then I have the Lions taking Jalen Carter. He has had issues off of the field. But I think the Lions, really do their in-depth research and know what kind of person they are. Maybe it was one mistake and the Lions, realized that it makes mistakes happen, and then they move on from that and go with Carter. 7, I have Peter Skoronski staying put. The Raiders need to bolster their O-line. And then 8, I have the Falcons taking Devin Witherspoon, probably more than likely 90% the best corner in this draft, and he goes to Atlanta, where they're loaded with corners now. At 9, I have the Chicago Bears taking Tyree Wilson, edge threat from Texas Tech, very freak athlete, and he, will be, just great coming off the edge. They've lost a lot of that with trading Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack over the last few years. At 10, Bijan Robinson comes off the board to who else? The team that only needs a running back away from possibly a Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. They get him, and man, that offense would be scary for next year and the years to come. At 11, this is where the Cardinals will pick after their trade with Tennessee. They go offensive line to protect Kyler and Paris Johnson Jr. He's a great offensive line. 12, I have the Texans taking Hendon Hooker. And, this might be an interesting pick. Now that all the top quarterbacks are off the board, Hooker is going to be, the odd man out in this one and not taking the top 10. But I do like what he brings to the table. Last year he played himself into the first round and possibly almost a top 5 pick conversation until he got hurt. So I think they will go with Davis Mills to start the year, and then Hooker develops and whatnot. I think he could be the starter next year. At 13, my Packers are taking Jackson Smith and Jigba out of Ohio State, trading up 2 spots to get him, with the Jets and the Aaron Rodgers trade since the last time this video came out. I think that's their guy, and that's who they're going to go with. 14, the Patriots take Christian Gonzalez, another corner out of Oregon. And Bill Belichick really knows how to get the most out of his cornerbacks, and I think that's going to be an excellent pick for him. At 15, Broderick Jones from Georgia is going to protect Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 years. And, you might as well invest the future in the offensive line for the next few years as long as Rodgers is your quarterback. And rounding out this slide, you got the Commanders taking Joey Porter Jr., who's an excellent corner out of Penn State, which I think will be a great value pick and not only help them in a tough NFC East, but will make a difference in the long run. Picks 17 through 24, there's no trades. I have Darnell Wright going to the Steelers to protect Kenny Pickett. Deonte Banks going to Detroit. And, the Lions, did need some help with Okudah. They got rid of him. And I think they're going to spend one of those picks on a corner, take another shot at it. Bucks are going Nolan Smith, edge threat, to help Devin White. And, their defense, bolster the defense. Seahawks go Brian Brees, defensive tackle out of Clemson, freak athlete, can run up the middle, great run block, great run shedder, and he can, get to the quarterback very quick. I think he's just excellent fit. Michael Mayer stays at 21 with the Chargers from last time. Quentin Johnson going to the Ravens. This is an interesting, do they have the depth? I know they signed Odell for a year, but for a lot of money and injury concerns from previous years, Rashad Bateman injury concerns, and it would be wise, I think, to take another rookie receiver on the board. He would be the first one off the board, so you got to look that, or it would be the second one off the board, so you got to look that way. And I think it would help out Lamar in making him want to stay even more. 23, Jordan Addison goes to the Vikings, and this is an interesting, pick here. I think the Vikings could go multiple ways with this one, but I think they choose to bolster those wide receiver corps. KJ Osborne and Justin Jefferson are the two guys right now that are looking like the for sure locks that are going to be studs on this team. And then you got, I don't really know who else you got, and I think adding Addison will be a less, load management for Jefferson, as he will still have a great year. And then at 24, I have Brian Branch, safety out of Alabama, to help Jacksonville's secondary. And rounding out the first round, the Giants are taking Zay Flowers, wide receiver at Boston College, and I think he could possibly be the best receiver out of this draft when it's all said and done. Daniel Jones gets another weapon, and could this be his first superstar that he gets in the foreseeable future? I think it could be. 26, the Cowboys replaced Dalton Schultz with Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. He has just looked excellent. He's been climbing up draft boards and is almost the best tight end in the draft. Unfortunately, I think Michael Mayer's a little better, but Kincaid is going to be a great replacement and help Dak Prescott out a lot. At 27, I have Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver from Tennessee. He was not in this last mock draft, and I have him jumping in here. I think the talent's there, deep ball threat. We saw what he did against Alabama last year. Absolutely went off. And I think that, helps the Bills go over the top a little more than they do just to Diggs and Davis. 28, I have Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama going to the Bengals. This team lost Samaje Perine to free agency. Joe Mixon in his situation, what he's been dealing with, they might not even bring him back after next year. So I think it would be smart here to go Gibbs and invest in a rookie running back where you can control for up to the next 5 years. 29, I have Lucas Van Ness, edge threat out of Iowa, going to the Saints to help Cameron Jordan get to the quarterback faster. I think that's a big boost for their defense. 30, the Eagles pick yet again in the first round with Osiris Torrance to protect Jalen Hurts a little bit and bolster that run game. And rounding out the first round, I have the Kansas City Chiefs taking Will McDonald out of Iowa State, and he's going to help Frank Clark and that defense get to the quarterback quicker as well. They have struggled at times getting to the quarterback, but I think this is a pick here which will solve that problem. And that's going to be it for this year's NFL mock draft. Make sure you guys check back after the draft where I will grade every single team on all of their picks they made during the draft. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.